What would the Mariners making the playoffs mean to you? Well, we're going to find out on this very special episode of Locked On Mariners.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is Tuesday, September 27, 2022. This is Ty Gonzalez for the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you so much for making the show your first listen. Subscribe, like, and turn on alerts if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your preferred podcast platform if you like what you hear. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. You will be the star of our show. Colby and I asked you to submit a video expressing what the Mariners ending their 20-year playoff drought means to you, and you delivered. So much so that we have to split this episode into two parts. So if you don't see your video today, don't fret. It's likely in part 2, which we're planning on dropping this Friday. So with that said, I only have one question to ask. What would the Mariners making the playoffs mean to you?
Hi, my name's David Bechtel. I'm 34 years old. I was born and raised in the Seattle area, and I still live here. Mariners ending this drought and making the playoffs would be literally living my childhood over again. I couldn't even begin to describe it. So instead, I'll just show you some of the things I still have from 1996 in anticipation of a playoff run. They printed out a bunch of these with first season ticket holders who committed financially to playoff games. And then we even have a photo of my brothers and I and my mother at the last Kingdom game. It would, not just for me, but for my family, and also for my 18-month-old daughter, who is a diehard fan already. It would just absolutely mean the world to us. So, go Mariners.
Hey, what's up, Mariners fans? My name's Dylan Levitt. I've been a Mariners fan my whole life, and I'm from New England. And I'd love to be able to tell all the Boston fans that they can no longer show the hate, that we are not a playoff team anymore. We finally broke the drought. Go Mariners.
Hi, my name is Tori Johnson, and I'm a Mariners fan in Oregon. I've been watching baseball my whole life with my dad, and I've been a Mariners fan my whole life. When I was little, a few times we got to drive up to the Kingdom and watch the Mariners play. And then when I got older, we would go down to Peoria and we would watch spring training. And for me, what it would mean if the Mariners make the postseason is just hopefully that baseball here in the Pacific Northwest will be more exciting for years to come. And I'm hoping I can make that connection with my kids and that they will love watching baseball with me, and that we can make that connection here with some exciting baseball. My son is 3 and he's already so excited about Julio. He loves watching Julio play. And so I'm really hopeful that with some good postseason runs, we'll be able to make a lifelong fan in my kids and maybe other kids around the Pacific Northwest.
Hey, what's good? Ty, Colby, all the Mariners fans out there. My name's Nasifa. Lifetime Mariners fan, really. Growing up in Seattle, I can remember just, being a kid sitting on my living room floor, watching the games with my dad, going to the Kingdom before it was demolished. Seeing the historic teams with Griffey, and then years later with Ichiro, and now fast forward 25 years later, here we are in the midst of another historic season. It's been so long since we had a squad with this kind of chemistry and, been able to have this kind of hope with our team. So making the playoffs, it would mean a lot. A lot's changed in life. My dad's passed away. I live now in South America, in Medellin, Colombia. I'm streaming the games, watching online, but it's been a joy to follow the team, keep up with the content you guys are making, and let's go Mariners. Let's make it happen. Let's pop champagne in a few weeks when this becomes official. Go Mariners.
Hey, this is Jordan Schusterman, one half of Cespedes Family Barbecue, and a Mariners fan who is obviously quite excited to have this team in the postseason, at least a 99.999% chance as I record this. What the team making the postseason would mean to me is, it's interesting because I was not born into Mariners fandom like so many of you that are probably listening. I have no ties to the Pacific Northwest. I've only been a Mariners fan for a little over a decade now, thanks to this guy right here, Felix Hernandez, and this guy right here, Yuniesky Betancourt, more so that guy. But yeah, Felix was my favorite pitcher. I got really involved with the Lookout Landing world and reading Jeff Sullivan but the Mariners were bad, right? They were not good, but I picked them because of Felix and kind of just because of the aura of the team, and I love staying up watching the late games, and to have them make the postseason now would be crazy. It'd be amazing, and I can only imagine what it feels like for people that have been fans for much longer and have been waiting for this. But it's been so fun to be, a part of the Mariners fan community over the last 10 years, and certainly over the last couple of years as the team has gotten better. So, I mean, it'd be amazing, and I still am kind of having a hard time processing that it's really going to happen, as I'm sure many of you are too. But I just can't wait for that clinch, because that is the fun part, because watching the actual postseason games will be truly miserable and stressful. But yeah, that's all I got. Go M's.
Hey, Ty and Colby, my name is Spencer. I've been a fan of the Mariners since October 13th, 1998, the day I was born. Maybe cheesy, but it's true. And by the end of this year, I will have graduated from college, which I just did a month ago. Go Central Washington University Wildcats. I will have been sober for a year, and the Mariners will have made the playoffs. And those other two things don't even really matter to me, because the Mariners are making the playoffs. I am so pumped. I am enjoying every step of the way. I've gone from watching Richie Sexton thrown out of every game I've gone to in person and watching Joan Figgins miss the ball every at-bat, to watching Julio Rodriguez hit ninth inning dongs, and this rocks. Let's go M's. We're winning it all, baby.
Hello, Locked On Mariners podcast. My name is Gearbolt Gaming. I have been a fan of the Mariners since 2008, and seeing them make this playoff run has been electrifying. I have loved every second of it. From the Atlanta Braves win a couple nights ago, it was huge. It was huge, getting the Julio home run to tie it and then the Suarez home run to win it. That was so electric, and the energy in Seattle has been so good. It's time. It's our time to rise, and very excited. Let's hope we make the World Series. Go Mariners. We'll see you next time.
Okay, so I've been a Mariner fan for about 3.5 years. I've always loved baseball, but have been a casual fan, so I might go to a few games a year. But 3.5 years ago or so, after the Cano trade, when Jerry started rebuilding these Mariners into what they are today, it has just been the most engrossing story. I watch every game now. We are full season ticket member holders, and I consume every podcast and most articles and information about the Mariners as I can. I just love the story. These guys are like my adopted sons. I love them. They are great people. It has just been a blast. So if they win, it's going to be like my family is in the playoffs. Yeah, and I'd be a proud mom of 40 plus 2. My real ones. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just super excited about the prospect of especially being able to sit in the seats and watch them play. I know I'm going to cry. It's going to be awesome. So, go Mariners.
Hello, fellow Locked On Mariners fans. My name is Mason Happily, and I live in Tucson, Arizona. I moved here from Washington when I was a little kid. As a kid, my uncle and dad would often take me to games. It was the greatest memories of my life. I even saw King Felix's perfect game of aim when I was younger, and that has been my greatest childhood memory. I love the Seattle Mariners. Although they haven't been the greatest, I've still stayed a strong Mariners fan since 2013. This team has always been and always will inspire me to keep playing baseball. Making a drought like this that has been going on my whole life and a decade longer would mean the world to me. I'd make sure of a big party with all my fellow Mariners fans. Thank you.
Hey, Locked On Mariners. I'm Flavio Martins, and I've been a Mariners fan since 2020. I'm one of the new fans. We moved to the Seattle area in 2020. Right at the beginning of the pandemic. It was a crazy time, I think, for everyone and for our family. And moving here to Seattle, we immediately jumped on behind the Mariners to cheer them on. We've been big baseball fans and first time living in a Major League Baseball city. And following the Mariners is something that really helped bring our family together, especially during a difficult time, trying time, and also getting used to a new environment. So the Mariners making the playoffs would mean a lot to our family. it'd be kind of that cementing of our new home and continuing to cheer on the Mariners in many, many years to come.
We'll get to more of your videos in just a moment, but you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you again for making us your first listen. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for football betting info this season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth articles and analysis on every game you can find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sporting wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. It is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline is where the game starts. Now, back to your videos.
My name is Bryce Resch. I've been a Mariner fan since 2007, when after the game that I saw, Ichiro gave me a peace sign in his small gold Suzuki pickup truck. And what the drought ending would mean to me is that I finally get to put on my Felix jersey and my Mariners hat and get to sit with my dad in the silent moments of tension and anger and relaxation and frustration that the playoffs bring. Something that he and I have never experienced together, but something that ignited our love for baseball together.
Hello, hey, my name's Chris Manley, and I am from Kirkland, Washington, originally from Orcas Island, Washington. I've been a Mariner fan since I was a little kid, 1977, right from the beginning when they were playing in the Kingdom. And we've had some mostly down years, a few up years that have been very fun. The last one, I think, was 2001, was the last time they made the playoffs. And at that time, my son was only 3 years old. And so if they were able to make the playoffs this year, that would mean a whole hell of a lot, because then Christian could experience Mariner baseball in October, and the excitement that all goes with that would be super awesome. So anyway, I believe in these guys. I think they're a great crew, and I think they're going to make it this year. I believe.
Hey guys, this is Jason in London, England. What does a Mariners postseason appearance mean to me? Well, I'm a Pac Northwest boy. I was born in Redmond, raised in Yakima by the Mariner Moose, and I bought my first glove even at Stottlemyre Sporting Goods. That's how deep it runs. I skipped school with my buds in 1995, and we caught Game 3 of the ALDS. We had to buy our tickets. We hawked them in the parking lot of the Kingdom. And I didn't realize it as a sophomore in high school, but it was the first time ever that a Major League Baseball postseason game was played in Seattle. So pretty cool to be there. Randy got the W. Blow and the Bone knocked in ribbies. That was our one shot, though, to see them in the postseason. I never had another chance. We didn't have the moxie to skip school again and go over there for Game 5, and so I didn't see Edgar's double off the wall. And in 2001, I didn't see any of the games in person, but I listened to all 116 victories on my real audio player instead of doing my college work. So if I'd actually applied myself, I probably wouldn't be recording this video right now. No offense. And then, of course, we watched the Mariners collapse. Again and again and again. And I'm okay with that. I'm not throwing shade. I guess I'm saying I've waited a long time. And so the postseason this October would be phenomenal fun. But I won't really be satisfied until the M's get into the World Series. An appearance there is critical, and I think that's next. And with the young squad that Jerry's been building, they have a fighting chance. It's not easy being an M's fan in the UK. Night games are at 3 a.m. I wake up and I listen to Riz and Sims on the radio, and then I listen to this podcast, which I've been loving, listening to Locked On for about a month now. So at this rate, I'll be a fan any day. The cutting commentary, the scintillating analysis. I particularly like Colby's air of disaffected, whateverness. I call it the pat now nonchalance, mostly because it has a lot of syllables. And I agree with you guys most of the time. J-Rod's contract was brilliant. Agree. Luis Castillo has been filthy. Agree. The Oakland Coliseum is a dumpster fire. Couldn't agree more. However, I cannot get behind Colby's misplaced hatred of Dylan Moore. It's unnecessary. It's super awkward. I mean, did Demo steal your double bubble back in Little League or something, Colby? Anyhow, in the UK, we're mourning the passing of our beloved Queen. We're paying $10 a gallon at the pump, and to make matters worse, it's cricket season. So, something to look forward to. Rejoicing in the rise of our Mariners. It's kind of all I got. So, Ty, Colby, love from London. Thank you for making it fun. Keep plucking that chicken. And go Mariners.
Hi, my name is Cole. I'm a Mariners fan down here in Florida, which means I get the honor of staying up till midnight to watch all the home games. Love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. But the Mariners ending their postseason drought for me would mean finally being able to watch a playoff game with my dad. He was in the Air Force all growing up. On base, we had this little closet that we turned into a computer room. And I would watch all the games with him back before there was all these live streaming things back when I was 4 years old in 2001. And so I'd have to watch it with him one dot at a time. Falling asleep at the computer, asking if the Mariners won when my mom made me go to bed after the game ended, just asleep on the keyboard. And so finally, I would be able to maybe go to a game if they play in Tampa. Finally experience that with my parents, and especially my dad, because it's one of the earliest things we bonded over, and it's why I love so many things now. Just my love of baseball has led me to really be who I am now, and I wouldn't have that without the Mariners. It's one of the oldest loves I have, and the Mariners mean a lot to me. So it'd be really cool to be able to experience a playoff run with my dad after all these years. That's all, though. Have a good one.
How's it going, Locked On Mariners family? My name is Ethan Watt, and I'm in Bend, Oregon, and I've been a Mariners fan since birth. I was born in '95. I was at opening day that year. I was at the game when Edgar hit the double. I don't remember any of it, but I have the ticket stubs to prove it, and so it counts. But I love this team. I always joke that I've been alive for every one of the Mariners playoff pushes. They haven't made it since I was 6. If their playoff drought was a person, that person would almost be old enough to drink, and they drink as their Mariners fan. But all joking aside, this team has meant everything to me over my life. It's been a sense of camaraderie and joy within my family. We've rooted, we've had season tickets my whole life, even the 10 years I lived in Florida. We go see them play in Tampa. And to see them make the playoffs, to break this drought, would just be, it would just mean everything. I wouldn't have to defend being a Mariners fan anymore. I could just enjoy it and go along for the ride. So go Mariners, see us rise, believe in the blue. Thanks for all you do.
Hi, Ty and Colby. My name is Kyungmin, and I'm originally from Tacoma, Washington, and I've been a Mariners fan since I was born, so since the 90s. The Seattle Mariners making the postseason would mean a generational curse has been lifted. New generations of Mariners fans will understand what a winning baseball team will look like. And just the thought that this 20-plus year chapter is finally coming to a close, it's just surreal to me. The slide in 2001 with the 116 seasons will always be part of the Mariners' identity, but the fact that we don't have to rely on that anymore and we have a chance to make something new is just absolutely so exciting for me. And the chance that we still have a chance of hosting a playoff game too. So it's been fun to be a Mariners fan this year. It really has been. And also, Colby, I love you. Keep up the good work.
I've been a Mariners fan since 1996, the year I was born, and I haven't been fortunate enough to see the Mariners in the playoffs. So this year means a lot to me, obviously. First time the Mariners have a chance to have not only a team in the playoffs, but a very, very good team in playoffs. And so what it means to me to see the Mariners make the playoffs, it's my life. It's my life. It's my life. So let's go Mariners. I love Locked On Podcast. I watched every single one. And I thank you guys. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Todd, and I have been a Mariner fan since 1977, their first year. All of my brothers were Yankee fans, and I wanted my own team. So they were brand new, and I said I'm going to adopt them. They all made fun of me because they thought they were going to come in last place, but actually they came in sixth by a half a game on the last day of the season, and I threw it in their faces. I was really thrilled when Lou Piniella became the manager because he actually was my favorite Yankee player, so that was really cool. If the Mariners went to the playoffs finally after a long drought, it would mean the world to me because it would be like enduring a very painful, long marriage that had its ups and downs, but mostly downs, especially the Jack Sorensic bonehead moves. But this year they seem to be on the right track, and it'd be like enduring a really bad marriage and having a celebration with a second marriage where we renew our vows and promise to stay excellent. So there's my pitch. I hope it happens. You guys do a great podcast on the show, and keep it up. Thanks so much for your hard work.
What is going on, Colby? What is going on, Ty? My name is Chris. I am a Mariners fan coming from Wasilla, Alaska. And what it would mean for the 2022 Seattle Mariners to make the playoffs. I mean, absolutely everything to me. I mean, a World Series would be nice. I mean, but even just making the playoffs, I mean, beating the curse. I was born in 2001, so I feel like the curse is partially attached to me. I don't know why, but now the fact that they're pretty much guaranteed to make the playoffs now, super excited. And I think not only that, I think this team's going to could make a playoff run. Maybe you might see him in the World Series. It might be it's a bold prediction, but that rotation is nasty. And if everything goes right, I could see the Seattle Mariners in the World Series this year. And it's an exciting time to be a Mariners fan. Julio's locked down. You got Luis Castillo. Hopefully they extend him. Robbie Ray. I mean, young players. This team is fun. And for the first time in a long time, I'm proud and excited to be a Mariners fan. Thank you, guys.
My name's Justin. Currently residing in Boise, Idaho. Originally from the Bay Area, California. And I got in the Mariners in 1993 because I like Ken Griffey Jr. so much. He was my favorite player, still one of my favorite players. And baseball since then has been my favorite sport. It would mean a lot for the Mariners to make the playoffs when they make the playoffs this year. And it's all thanks to Julio. Our savior rescued the Mariners from years of ineptitude and struggles to put the Mariners back on the map, and I'm ready to see some playoff baseball. And for the record, my other favorite sports teams are the Raiders and the Magic in basketball. And since 1993, that's 3 championship appearances and no titles. So I'm ready to get one. Let's go Mariners.
Hey Ty and Colby, this is Aaron Elder. I love your guys' show. I live in Denver, Colorado. I've been a Mariners fan since 1993, about when Griffey arrived on the scene from the Home Run Derby in Camden Yards. Recently I was up in Seattle for my 40th birthday with my twin brother, and we got to see that Suarez walk-off game against the Braves. It was awesome. What Mariners playoff run means to me is actually probably less about me, more about my kids. Getting into the game, playing baseball this year for the first time, and being excited about watching Major League Baseball with my kids. And it's been a blast thus far, and I imagine it getting better with the Mariners making the playoffs. And that's what is so special to me about the Mariners making the playoffs this year.
I'm Andrew. I'm 12 years old and have been a diehard Mariners fan since 2018. What the Mariners making the playoffs would mean to me is just the thrill of excitement of being fans of a winning team and a whole lot of good ball games ahead. And I am ready for this team to play in the playoffs for the first time since 2001. To everybody at Locked On Mariners, thank you so much for putting a smile on my face after tough days. I hope you continue to bless people through Locked On Mariners and continue helping the sports network become a better place. So don't stop the amazing work you're doing. and go Mariners.
Ty, Colby, my name is Josiah Sears. I'm taking a little break from my work day to deliver this important message to you about why the Seattle Mariners need to go to the playoffs and why it matters. First, stigma. Man, these guys absolutely need to get going because they have the longest drought in North American history for professional sports. Second to that, look at me. I'm clearly a dad. I have a mustache. I have 4 kids. These guys need the Seattle Mariners to go to the World Series. Let's go, baby. And lastly, I don't know, Colby, maybe you want to throw in a little auto, a little gift to the fans just for the Seattle Mariners making the playoffs. We'll see. I don't know. I know you were desperate for this video. I took time out of my day to deliver it. Maybe we can make some things happen. Anyways, guys, have a beautiful baseball day.
Hey, that's my line. But as the man said, have yourself a beautiful baseball day. That's going to do it for our show. I've been Ty Gonzalez. Remember that part 2 of this episode will be out on Friday. Thank you so much for your submissions. It was so great hearing all of your stories. Thank you again for making us your first listen. Now make your second listen the Locked On MLB podcast. MLB expert Paul Francis Sullivan brings humor, passion, and unique perspective on every team and the biggest stories around the league. Follow the #1 daily league-wide podcast, Locked On MLB, on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts just like us. And with that, Colby and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.